Okay, so I heard your concerns. There's a lot of fear in the community that golems are going to be very squishy. They're going to die all the time. I've heard everything from in Uber bosses to in yellow maps. The truth is, they don't. We are getting new tools in 3.26 in order to keep these golems alive, and some great existing tools are already there for us to use. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through why your golems will not die all the time, and if they do, some tips on how to fix it. Let's go. So the first reason that your golems are not going to die all the time is that they have a massive health pool. An average character in Path of Exile has anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000 effective life. That is life and energy shield combined. And your golems have significantly more than that. The regular stone golem, which is the tankiest of all of my golems because it has meat shield on it, has 29,000 life and a bunch of recovery that we will talk about later. 29,000 life is large enough to survive many things in the game. And when you combine the other layers of massive mitigation, 29,000 life is going to be pretty hard to get through. Your weakest golems are the flame golem and lightning are going to have at 19,000, as well as some added energy shield. And then the stone golem of safeguarding has 14,000 life. Now, this minion has a built-in less life modifier because one of the things it does is tank damage for you. So if you are tanking large slams, it is going to die much quicker, but that's on you. The second reason that your golems are not going to die all the time is regen. It's fairly easy to build up some decent percent regen, which is significantly better than flat regen because their life pool is so big that 1% is a lot of life. So as you see here, our flame golem has 1,000 life recovery per second here. And this is not with any crazy investment. This is just very baseline investment. We have a couple of renewal large clusters. These are fairly easy to craft. That is 1% life per. We have 2 of those. We're also running Convocation. Convocation has the ability to teleport your minions to you, and it is on a cooldown. So we run it on automation, so it triggers on cooldown. Cooldown is 3 seconds, so it's going off a little bit more than every 3 seconds because it has some cooldown recovery built in. Now, you have a base duration of 2 seconds on the buff of Convocation, which is 2% life regen per second. So if we come into the Calcs tab and go over to Convocation, you can see that we currently have a skill cooldown of 1.8 seconds and a skill duration of 2.4 seconds. So that is an uptime of 100%. We achieve that through quality on Convocation and the minion defense mastery that gives cooldown recovery rate to your Convocation. If we take this off and go back to Calcs, you can see we're at 96%. So if you also take off the quality of Convocation, which is skill effect duration and CDR, which are both very useful, you can see it drops down to 63%. So before you get quality, you run the Convocation thing here, you get 93%. The quality will boost you up to 96. You only need to run one of these, but they both have the same effect, which is better uptime of the 2% regen on Convocation. Super, super strong. You can invest more into percent life regen for your minions. You can get something like Vitality. You could get that on your Merc. The more recovery you have, the longer they stay alive. So invest in percent regen. The next reason why your golems are not going to die all the time is Phys taken as. The new Shaper of Flames notable has been significantly changed and now makes it so that enemies convert 40% of their own physical damage to fire damage. This is not a local modifier like on a Cloak of Flame that only would affect you. This affects everyone in your party, your allies, because the monster is converting their damage locally. Now, this is multiplicative with something like a Cloak of Flame for you. However, there are multiple items that will assist in this conversion. The first one is the Pyroshock Clasp Leather Belt that says enemies ignited by you have 15% Phys converted to fire, and shocked by you has 15% converted to lightning. So you can get between 20 and 30% of enemy local conversion, which would get you up to 70%. My build does not shock, and therefore I wouldn't want to use this belt. But if your build does shock, this is incredibly powerful. What I will be using on my Mercenary is the Calm's Binding Belt. This has nearby enemies convert 25% of their physical damage to fire, giving us 65% conversion. This applies to both us and our minions, and for us, it is going to be a huge damage reduction, as we have 75% fire resistance. But for our golems, that leads me to my next point. Golems are immune to elemental damage. Liege of the Primordial is getting the benefit of Elemancer when these get combined for next league that says summoned golems are immune to elemental damage. I cannot overstate how important this is. Number one, most of the damage in the game is elemental. They don't take less elemental damage, they take none. So when you combine the immune to elemental damage with the 65% conversion of physical damage to fire, they are simply taking 65% less physical damage. That's really strong on a character with 4,000 life. On a character with 29,000 life and 2,000 regen, it's going to be pretty easy to keep them alive. Another way to help these minions stay alive, since you now know that they are immune to all elemental damage, is figuring out how to mitigate physical and chaos res. There is a medium cluster that is incredibly powerful if for some reason you find that your golems are dying, which they will not. But if they do in tier 17s or uber bosses, you can take something called Blessed Rebirth, which says minions created recently cannot be damaged. That is 4 seconds of complete immunity for these minions. Let's assume that your minion dies the second it's spawned. This won't happen. But for the sake of argument, Blessed Rebirth would make it so that these minions have a 50% uptime if they are killed instantly when they are spawned. I don't believe this is necessary, but it is an option. On the other side, Dread March is fantastic. It gives 10% increased life, it gives 10% movement speed so they keep up with you a little bit better, but it also gives chaos res and physical damage reduction. I truly believe that this entire cluster is not necessary at all, and I almost certainly will not be including it in my endgame build, but it is there if you want it. Another massive change that is coming, and another reason why your golems will not die all the time, is Shaper of Winter. It actually just got changed again this morning, and it's lost its offensive capabilities. But the power to chill up to 40% has returned, which means the defensive side has increased to 20% less damage dealt by nearby enemies. That isn't just to you, that is also to your golems. So they basically have Fortify, provided you are max chilling enemies. Max chill is going to be a bit of an issue in this build, and it's something that I'm currently working on, but there are cold caster buffs coming according to GGG, and I believe that chill effect is going to be one of the things that they help increase because it was taken away from Elementalist. Chill is an incredibly powerful modifier on enemies. A 40% chill on the Shaper is so noticeable that often on builds that I've max chilled Shaper with, I die to his actions because I dodged too quickly and they happen multiple seconds afterwards. So when you are chilling and freezing these endgame bosses, you do have to get used to that new speed. So another thing that I don't believe is necessary, but you can go for if you want, is Grave Intentions. Grave Intentions is a wheel that gives chaos res and life, and that also provides life as extra energy shield. This wheel provides 53% chaos res, and if we go look and see what our minions have, they have 20% chaos res at base. With this current POB, we have 10 from Dread March, which we probably won't have in the endgame. But then if you take this wheel, you are getting them up over the cap. So if you remove the base from Dread March, you're going to have 73 chaos res on your minion from this 3-point wheel, which is incredibly powerful. It's very cheap. It provides more life and then a huge amount of energy shield. So you see for our Flame Golem here, it's going to take us from 3440 up to 7500. So 4000 energy shield is getting added on top, and then an extra 1.4k life. On our more tanky golem, the Stone Golem currently has 29,400 life. If you take this wheel, he's up to 31,500 and then 6,300 energy shield. If you are having problems with chaos, which is possible, there are some very, very strong chaos skills in the game, and you want to solve it with 3 points, this is it right here. In tier 17s, if you are really juicing, you're definitely going to want to take this. It is a one-stop shop to fix the chaos res on your golems and also provide them with even more life. Because our life regen is percent based, more life equals more regen. The last thing I will mention is that you are also going to have an Animate Guardian and a Mercenary in this build. Both are going to have items that provide buffs to you and your golems, but then there's also going to be auras from your Mercenary. That could be Grace to give them evasion. It could be Determination to give them armor. It could be Vitality to give them significantly more life regen. We are going to have even more buffs than you see here, making your golems very, very, very tanky. Again, I did play this build last league. I did not have any problems with golem tankiness, and I didn't get to use any of the new tools that we are going to have in this league. So if you are still concerned that your golems are going to die all the time, maybe just play something else. I appreciate you all for watching. I have a lot more content coming. I am working on some endgame POBs, hopefully wrapping some of them up over on stream today on twitch.tv/AER0___. I'm live just about every single day, and I will be right after this video. So thank you all for watching. And as always, take care.